Hi, Todd Durgan, part of the Dave Hebler Kenpo Karate Association. We're here for another session with Senior Grandmaster Dave Hebler to talk about some of the adventures and various things that happened and that he got to experience throughout his life in Kenpo with Mr. Parker and other various, probably more famous people.
You know, to do that. And then you look at him, and there is film of him that I've seen doing short three in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's at a demonstration.
Yeah, as a demo. And when you watch him perform that particular form, what comes across to me, if not to anybody else, is the fact that Form 3 is a power form. The emphasis on power shots throughout the form is evident. I mean, just absolutely evident.
Yeah, his timing, the ebb and flow of the form that he has as he does it. Now, it's funny you bring that up. That form, I've watched that many times, trying to get a better sense of, you know, what Mr. Parker is and how his expression of the art, because I think that, you know, that translates a little bit through there. But since you bring up that video, I have to ask, because there's a lot of argument and debate about it. He didn't, from what I could tell, that wasn't really the traditional version of the form. He had some I guess you would call it, I lost the word. He was kind of doing his own thing through that form and giving it life as he felt it in the moment. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, yeah, sort of, but that's not a complete, you know, kind of overview. If you look at a form is basically a series of techniques put together and performed like a dance.
Right.
And when I use the word dance, I do that deliberately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in some corners of the world, the martial arts were referred to as the dance of death. And that's not by coincidence. You know, I mean, that was the idea.
Right.
So, I think most Kenpo people are familiar with Ed's explanation of how you would develop a technique, which would be to take a word and a word and a word and a word, and you put it together and you end up with a sentence.
Right.
Okay, which is fine, and that gets the point across, and that's pretty cool. But I say, and I've said for many years, is rather than to try to create a sentence, why don't you create a song? So that you're operating in terms of beats rather than you know, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Because if you look at people performing forms today, they seem to be in a really huge hurry just to get through all of the moves.
As fast.
And the fastest they can do it, the better, you know. When in point of fact, if you go back to that Form 3 that Ed Parker did, he's in no hurry whatsoever.
Right.
You know, and you can clearly see the minor moves and the major moves and the you know, the backup mass where the backup mass is required, and the distinction between moves that are setups in nature and moves that are designed to take them out.
Right. So maybe my question wasn't worded properly, but I really was just kind of saying, you know, do you see that as, you know, we have this box where people put, you know, these forms and sets in this.
Yeah.
This is the way it's supposed to be because this is the way Mr. Parker wrote it.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm with you on that. But my point was, so I kind of see that that version of him doing it as a more expressive, you know, his expression of how that form at the moment, how he felt about that form, which, you know, and I may be out base here, but I think that, you know, any form at any given moment is going to be different, even if you're doing, you know, long form one time and the next time, because your mood and your idea and your base on that?
Well,
I mean,
I kind of look at it a little bit differently. I don't disagree with what you just said. However, when I look at a form or evolutions of form, I'm reminded that I've always believed, and I've always, I was taught. Ed Parker was my personal instructor.
right. Which is pretty awesome.
I didn't have any other.
Right.
Okay. And so what I learned about Kenpo, I learned from him. But his emphasis was always on the essence of Kenpo being, you take what it is that I have to teach you, and you adapt that to your own particular physical makeup. And you end up with your own distinct style of Kenpo that's unique to you, which is exactly what Kenpo should be. So the idea of saying, of someone of some authority saying that, watching someone doing a form and saying, you're doing it wrong, well, who the hell are you to say it's wrong?
Right.
That's number one.
There's a lot of those,
Yeah, you've seen them, come on. Now, fine, they're not of evil intent.
Right.
But they want to preserve whatever it is that they think is what Kenpo actually is.
Their own ideal of what it is.
Yeah, that's right. This is what I think. This is what my instructor taught me, and whatever it is that you have to say is just shit.
So that solidifies their own journey.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It justifies whatever it is that they're trying to do, which is perfectly fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do, but you need to do a couple of things when it comes, to Kenpo. You have to differentiate between Kenpo, the art, and that portion of Kenpo that's applicable to fighting.
Right.
Because there's a difference between a martial art and learning how to fight. They're two different things.
Right.
Just because somebody gets a black belt in some form of martial art doesn't mean he knows how to fight.
Right.
Furthermore, it doesn't mean he knows how to teach either. I've always had a requirement for my students that at some point in time, you have to teach. Now, the reason for that is because if you have to teach it, you learn it really, really, really well. And what you're doing is you're teaching your version of what Kenpo is. To put it in another way, is that if I had 100 students, brand new students, never had a lesson in their life, when I'm done with those 100 people, I will have created 100 different individual and unique styles of Kenpo. Which is exactly what I'm supposed to do. They don't move exactly like me, nor should they. I work for Elvis Presley, and I do a lot of shows with ETAs, which is tribute artists, is what they call themselves. And if you imitate someone else, you always lose.
Right.
You can't ever win.
Right.
So why would you want to imitate me or Dave Prosser or you? Steal all your stuff, for sure, and adapt it to your own particular style and makeup. But make it yours.
But is that, so that's funny because, so that makes me, I have to ask, so is that stealing, or is that taking what was given and adapting it and making it what you, making it work for you and putting it to
No, I like
use?
the word steal.
Oh, I know.
Just
But
because I'm a
technically.
mercenary,
Right.
I like that word. But the way you describe it is exactly correct. That's what I really mean when I say steal.
Right, okay. Yeah. Cool. All right, well, that was good.